Hey, what's up, y'all? This your man Pristine back with another video. This video is entitled 10 Reasons Why the LG G7 Thin Q is the best, most complete flagship device released to date in 2018. Alright? Now this is an opinion of mine, so before you guys start to crucify, just hear me out, and if you don't agree, then hey, that's totally fine. I'm sure a lot of people out there will agree. Alright? Reason number one. The build and the overall ergonomics of this device. Now, this device is a 6.1 inch Quad HD display, and the reason why I'm in love with the phone ergonomically is because it's just the right size. It's not too big, it's not too small. Again, you see we got the aspect ratio with the notch, which the notch can be X'd out in the display settings if that's not something that you're into. And you can also do little cool effects by making the corners rounded or sharp, just depending on, how you like for your phone to look. But ergonomically, this phone is extremely lightweight. You definitely want to be careful with it. It's Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back, and so you definitely want to protect your investment. But with the glass on the front and back, it enables other features for this phone, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the video. But this phone it's a lightweight, and it's stretched vertically. It's not that wide. It's very thin, so you can see I can easily manage this device with one hand with no problems at all whatsoever. And I'm really a big fan of that. I've got really small hands. If you guys don't know, if you can't tell in the videos, I'm 5'3", about 121 pounds. All right, I'm a little guy. I'm very small in stature. And it's interesting because I like really big phones, but a lot of times after carrying a big phone for so long, it becomes kind of cumbersome. Well, the G7 Thin Q here, it doesn't get cumbersome because it's a lightweight. It doesn't weigh that much. It's nice and thin. It's easy to hold. Even in the little case that I've got for it, the phone is still really thin. The little TPU rubber case that I have for the device doesn't add any bulk or anything like that to the phone. I like the fact that around the corners, as you can see, it's nice and rounded. So when you're holding the device, it's not jabbing you in the palm of your hand, whether you're holding with your right or left hand. It's very easy to navigate everything with my thumb. We do have a one-handed mode. If things, seem to be a bit of a stretch, literally. So, I'm just a big fan of the phone ergonomically, the way that it feels, the way that it looks. And ultimately, that makes for a really good smartphone experience because our phones are always in our hands. Okay, so comfort, in my opinion, is definitely a major plus considering that these are devices that we're holding, for several minutes or hours in a day's time. So that's reason number one. Now, reason number two, the doggone wide-angle lens camera. Okay, now LG originated the wide-angle lens. Okay, now we've seen a lot of copycats with this. There's a lot of devices out there that have a wide angle lens, 120-degree field of view. Some have like 140-degree field of view. Some of them a little less. But, phone companies are now, starting to really go hard on copying this technology. And I feel as though, although it may be nice to have wide angle views, on your cameras, being able to have that option to choose between the regular viewfinder versus a wider angle just by the click of a button, I feel like LG is the only one that does it correctly. They do it right. With some of the other devices out there where you hit the wide angle lens, you may lose a little resolution. You know what I mean? Things may not look as crystal clear and crisp as the primary sensor. Well, there doesn't seem to be any change here with the LG devices, especially here on the G7 Thin Q. So I feel like if you want the wide angle lens done right on both the front facing and the rear facing camera, and also if you also want the ability to be able to switch the cameras on the fly while you're recording, that is a huge plus for me. I really like that about that ability. On other devices that have the wide angle lens, they may have the option, but before you start recording, you have to either choose between the primary lens or the wide angle lens and then start recording. Well, on the G7 here and other LG devices that have this feature, you can switch cameras lenses on the fly while you're recording. So, hey, that's a plus. That's huge because if I'm recording and I want to switch to the wide angle, I don't want to have to stop the video only to change the aspect and then start recording again. And then I've got two separate videos as opposed to one. So I like the wide angle camera lens, and just to kind of give you guys a brief example of what I'm talking about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, now here is my little soundbar remote controller. Okay, and you guys see the two little buttons right there. Now this is the regular viewfinder. Now if I want wide angle, I just hit that, and you see that? I mean, that's amazing. And then if I just want to go back, then there it is. Okay, that's the rear facing camera. Now if I want to turn it around to me, what's up, y'all? Here I am. Okay. Oh man, my bad. Okay, so the G7 doesn't have this feature on the front facing camera, which sucks. I'm getting it confused with the Stylo 4. So the Stylo 4, the LG Stylo 4, has the wide angle feature on the front facing camera, but it doesn't have a dual camera setup on the rear, so it doesn't have that capability. The G7 here has the dual cameras on the front. I'm sorry, the dual cameras on the back, enabling you to be able to use that wide angle feature. But it's interesting because they still could have did that on the front facing camera here on the G7. So because I know that the Stylo 4, it doesn't have a dual camera system on the front facing camera, but you still have the ability to switch from wide angle to, you know, I know it's just the way that they tweak the zoom, but still, you know, they could have did that here on the G7. So my bad. I like the fact that they got the feature on the rear camera though, because again, it really does help when you're taking still shot photos, and if you're recording, just having the ability to switch between the two lenses and having the ability to switch between the two lenses while you're recording. It's a major plus. On top of a lot of the other video features and things that we know and love in the LG V30, a lot of those things have also been implemented here on the G7. So that's reason number 3. You got, you know, the wide angle lens and a whole slew of video and just options with the camera that you can tweak. All right. Now, reason number 4, we've got this little teeny tiny room filling speaker on the bottom of this device that sounds absolutely amazing. And I know that in 2018, we've got a lot of devices that got dual front-facing speakers, or they've got a speaker here in the speaker grill and the ear receiver, and then a bottom-firing speaker. And, you know, either way, I mean, whether you got 2 front-facing speakers or one in the ear receiver and one bottom-firing, they sound pretty nice. Now, me, I'm not really a huge fan of, you know, bumping music on my phone because I stream everything through Bluetooth. I've got Bluetooth speakers, but just testing this phone out and just wanting to see, okay, can this thing really fill up a room? You know, it's a small device. I mean, it's interesting. People talk about, you know, these phone speakers like they're just real deal like audio equipment. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't really expect too much out of speakers coming from a cell phone unless it's connected to like another speaker that has much higher outputs and things of that nature. But to my surprise, this speaker is really loud and it's really crisp and clear. And the magic happens when you set it on top of a hollow box. And then that's when a lot of the sound, the bass, and a lot of the tones really start to come out and come alive. And so it has the ability to fill a room just with it alone. But then when you set it on something hollow, then it just intensifies the experience. It becomes much louder, and different tones in the music, voices and everything become much richer and easier to identify. So I think that that's amazing technology that's built within a cell phone that's as teeny tiny as this little G7 here. It's amazing technology. So that's reason number 4. Now, reason number 5, the doggone 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC, along with the DTS-X 3D surround sound. Now, for all of you individuals that like to plug in, okay, if you still like to plug in using wired headphones, it doesn't matter what headphones you got, whether they're budget headphones, mid-range headphones, or some of the most expensive headphones that you can get your hands on. If you plug into this 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the LG G7 Thin Q, it is going to enhance the sound quality tremendously. And the options that you have at your disposal, are absolutely phenomenal as far as being able to customize and really tweak the sound to get it where you want it. Now, testing this out, I was blown away with some of the headphones that I have, but the main experience came to me. I just recently bought another car. I had an Infiniti, an old school Infiniti in '08. It had a lot of things that was going on with it that I wasn't aware of, and it was just way more money to put into it than what I wanted to. And so what I did was I found another one that was in much, much better condition, and I just went ahead and did a trade-in. Okay, and so, you know, it's an '08. It has Bluetooth, but it has the Bluetooth to where you can pair the phone to the car and you can talk on the phone, but it doesn't allow you to stream music. But it does have like the auxiliary ports for you to be able to plug into the car through the auxiliary jack and then plug it into your headphones or plug it into your phone if you want to listen to music that way. And so plugging my auxiliary cord from my car into this headphone jack just completely blew my mind, because it takes the experience to a whole nother level. And what I mean by that is, you see right here, you've got the hi-fi quad DAC, and it comes alive when you plug in with the 3.5mm headphone jack. And so I'm going to long press on it there. Now, nothing's happening right now because I don't have anything plugged into it. But when you plug something into it, then it comes on and you can go ahead and tap that, and it's going to take you to all these different features and functions that you can customize. And also right here, you see we've got the DTS:X 3D surround sound, which you also can enable to enhance the sound after you've already made whatever adjustments that you feel you want to make with under the hi-fi quad DAC settings. So it's like you get these two different settings in which you can enable to enhance the sound quality, and it is absolutely amazing just the amount of control that you've got right there at your fingertips with your music. So just like it upscales and enhances the experience in headphones, well, it's going to do the same thing if you plug it into your car through an auxiliary jack and give you complete control over pretty much everything. You can tweak everything. There's a bunch of different presets, equalizers. Man, I've never quite had an experience like this. And I'm huge on audio and the way audio sounds. I'm always tweaking the bass, the treble, you know, the fade, the side to side or the front to back. Oh my goodness, this gives you everything to tweak to really customize it and pinpoint the sound quality exactly where you want it. That, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a music lover, there's no way that you could not appreciate that technology. I appreciate it immensely. Now that I've had the true experience of it, yeah, that's reason number 5 right now, man. All these other devices out there that have headphone jacks, great for all you people that like to plug in. But what I'm telling you right now is the headphone jack that you want is the one that's here on the LG G7 Thin Q. You could also find it on the LG V30. It also has the hi-fi quad DAC. Yeah, man. If you don't have that feature, man, you got to get it, man. You got to get it. That's reason number 5. For me, that just those two features alone right there, the hi-fi quad DAC and the DTX sound are enough to buy this phone to me, along with the specs and everything that it's featuring, because I'm just that much into music. All right, so let's move on. Now, reason number 6. A lot of people have been complaining over the years that LG's screens aren't the brightest and they're dull, and even though they have Quad HD, the color reproduction are kind of off, and they're just really dim compared to a lot of other people, you know, a lot of other of the competition's phones, right? Well, LG was like, all right, well, you know, they talking trash about the brightness, which I've never had a problem with the brightness. Now, I don't go around rocking my devices on maximum brightness, but a lot of people who like to do that, then maybe I can see why maybe that may be an issue if, in fact, you've had brighter screens before and then you convert over to an LG device and you're not able to get the screen quite as bright. I understand that particular argument. So what LG decided to do was, if you scroll down here, you get to your little volume rocker, the screen brightness rocker right there. You see this little black button right here? What that does is, if for whatever reason you're having trouble viewing the screen and you need more light, and moving the bar over to maximum brightness just isn't enough, then what you can do is you can hit this little button right there. Oh my goodness, it is blinding. You hit that little button and make sure that you only use it momentarily, because it drains your battery depending on how long you have it on. What that does, it increases the phone's brightness up to 1,000 nits. 1,000 nits, ladies and gentlemen. That is insane. If you can't see this screen while the screen brightness is on 1000 nits, you might want to make an appointment with that eye doctor and get checked out. Because that is hella bright. That's way brighter than what this screen needs to be on some of the most crucial elements of not being able to view your screen for whatever reason. So look at that. And obviously the camera's not going to adjust, to where you can see everything clearly because it's just too damn bright. If you're in a dark environment and you turn that on, trust and believe you're going to illuminate the area real quick. This screen is hella bright at 1000 nits. I like that. Because if in fact you need that for something, then you've got it. And I'm all about, hey, I'd rather have it and need it rather than need it and not have it. I'm all about that. Main reason why I carry a pistol. I'm registered, I'm legal, I'm legit. I don't walk around dirty, but pretty much everywhere I go, with the exception of work, my pistol is on my hip. Why? Because I'd rather have it and not need it rather than need it and not have it. We live in a crazy time nowadays in 2018. We're definitely living in revelations. Things is popping off all over the place. All these mass shootings and crazy shootings happening everywhere. I got a family. I got a wife and 3 kids. And by all means, if I'm in a position to protect mine or my life or the life of somebody else that may be in danger, then hey, that's what I got to do. So, not to get off topic, but again, a lot of these features that I'm stating, some of you guys may not use, but again, it's good to have these things and not need them rather than need them and not have them. All right. So moving forward on to reason number 7. Now, one of my favorite features about LG phones is when you tap the settings, the way the settings look here is called the tab view. I am a huge fan of the tab view. Why? Because every Android device is pretty similar in its own right. They all do the same damn things, and a lot of them look the same. And I just like being able to have a different look and a little bit of a different feel. Now, pretty much every Android device, let's just, Oreo is the operating system that's popping right now. You know what I mean? And then, I know we got Android P coming soon, but every device's settings menu or settings tab looks like this. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's simple. It's easy to navigate. Things are easy to find if you know how to read. But how many of you, if you had the ability to switch that up to a different look, how many of you would do it just to have a different look and don't have the same thing as everybody else that's walking around with an Android device? Well, LG, they give you the ability to do that. So when you hit tab view, I love the fact that everything is categorized. So when I hit network, these are the network settings. If I want to go over to sound, these are all the sound settings under one category. When I go over to display, these are all the display settings. Having, as opposed to having to fish around for them, you just, scroll over to display, and everything regarding the display is all right here. All the general settings, you move over to general, and everything that's considered under the general settings is all right here. It's all categorized for you under its own category. I love that about LG devices, and it's only LG devices that gives you that option to be able to change the look of your settings menu. That's huge to me, right? And if I wish that ability was in a lot of other phones, because just the conventional look is just kind of stale. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. But hey, I'm all about customizations and being able to change what I want to change. A lot of things we can't change because you're not given the option to change them. Well, with this particular aspect, LG gives you the option to change it. And I like that. And I would always opt for that tab view over the regular settings menu. That's just my personal opinion. I like having the ability to do that. Now, moving on to reason number 8. Now, we got a lot of devices nowadays that are out that are considered flagship devices, and you're not able to expand the storage. I don't quite understand that. The fact that you have expandable storage here on the G7 ThinQ up to 2 terabytes that LG is claiming, man, you can just go crazy with your storage on this particular device. And you ain't got to worry about, oh, my phone's going to run out and having to erase content to fit more content on there. 2 terabytes? That's 2,000 gigs, ladies and gentlemen. You do realize that a terabyte is 1,000 gigs. You know how much 1,000 gigs is, let alone 2,000 gigs? That's damn near like infinite storage. And I mean, it's only going to get higher as the years go on and more devices come out. But I mean, the fact that we're at a point to where we can fit 2 terabytes worth of data and storage of content, whether it be music, movies, pictures, documents, whatever. 2 terabytes. That's insane. But just the fact that this phone gives you the ability to expand your storage. A lot of phones, you're not able to do that, but they're considered flagship devices. OnePlus, even though I like the OnePlus 6, y'all better take notes. There's no reason why them phones, even though they are a fraction of the cost, and they're powerhouses, why can't we expand the storage, OnePlus? Get it together, OnePlus. And, a lot of people may say that the OnePlus 6 is better than the G7 here. But I just feel like the G7 is a much more complete device because, again, clear example, on the G7 Thin Q here, you can expand the storage. On the OnePlus 6, you have different packages in which you can purchase that allow a certain amount of storage. But once you peak out at that storage, guess what? You're done. There is no SD card. You got to start erasing shit. And who wants to do that when you can just pop in an SD card and just continue to add, to the device, whatever you want to put on it. So I like the fact that we've got expandable storage here on the G7. All right. Reason number 9. I talked a little earlier in the video about the fact that this phone is Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. Well, what that does is it enables me to be able to pick up my device and set it here. And what happens? It's going to start charging. Now, this is my Samsung fast wireless charger. There hasn't been too many times that I plugged this phone up to the Type-C connector port for charging, even though it charges faster than this. This charges the device fast enough. And if I'm really in a hurry, then yeah, I'll just pull out the charger, plug it in the wall, and, plug the phone up to it and, get whatever charge that I need, and I'm on about my day. But wireless charging, ladies and gentlemen, is one of those things to where you can't begin to understand the convenience of it if you've never had it. So I'm sure people have watched videos and heard people griping about the fact that a phone doesn't have wireless charging. And hey, I get it. You can't miss what you never had. But if you've been exposed to wireless charging, and then all of a sudden you go without wireless charging, it may be a bit of a problem. So for now, for me, wireless charging has become one of those things like an IR blaster. Like, I've gotten so accustomed to having IR blasters on a phone because I think that it's a magnificent piece of technology. And what a way, it's so convenient. It's like your phone is a universal remote for very little work at all whatsoever. That is crazy. And so when you get accustomed to it and then you get devices that don't, why? Right? Well, I now feel the same way about wireless charging. I've had this little charger for so long, and I've had multiple devices that have had wireless charging, but I've had more devices that don't have it. Wireless charging to me, ladies and gentlemen, is always going to be a very, very welcomed feature. OnePlus 6, again, there's no reason why that device is all glass. But it ain't got no wireless charging capabilities. Again, one of the main reasons why I say that the LG G7 Thin Q here has to be one of the most complete devices because it has literally everything. It has it all. It's got the IP68 rating, water and dust. You can submerge this, drop it, pour water on it, juice on it, whatever. Guess what? It's still going to be fully functional. Oh, but you can't say that about old OnePlus. And I ain't trying to slam the OnePlus, man. But, hey, I get it. It's a flagship killer for a fraction of the cost. But again, it's 2018. And I'm like, okay, can you really be considered a flagship killer if you're not providing all of the top 2018 flagship specs? And I'm sorry, but in 2018, part of the flagship specs is wireless charging and some type of IP rating. I ain't talking about just a little splash resistant. I'm talking about IP68. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I mean, OnePlus and all you other devices out there that are considering yourselves a flagship or a flagship killer and you don't have these technologies, man, you might want to step that up, man. You might want to step that on up. All right? Now, the last and final reason that I feel that the LG G7 Thin Q has to be the most complete device, the flagship device that's been released in 2018. The price. When the phone first came out, it was $750. $750. Now, some of you may say that that's a lot of money, and it is. Okay? A lot of these smartphones nowadays are up close to $1,000, $8,000, $9,000, $1,000 and above. I feel like with everything that the LG G7 Thin Q is offering, it is very well worth the $750 because it does a lot of what a lot of these other flagship devices that cost more than it, and in some cases, it tends to do them a little better, in my personal opinion. I don't really understand why LG doesn't really get the recognition that they deserve. I feel like they're up there with the cream of the crop, for sure. But a lot of people slam them. A lot of people feel like this particular iteration is basically trying to keep up with the trends and, with the notch and everything. And I get it. Who ain't doing that? That's typically what people do. When something trendy comes out, then people follow the trends. Why? Because they're trying to captivate the interest of the people. So you idiots out there who make it seem like you can't understand why there's a notch on the top of this phone. Have you been paying attention to the smartphone industry? If you can't understand why this phone has a 19:9 aspect ratio, have you not been paying attention to what's been going on in the smartphone world these days? Come on, people. Trends, trendy shit. It's what's trending right now. Okay, when the notch fades, when the new aspect ratio fades and something else comes out, then that's what we're going to see a lot of phones allude to. But for now, this is what it is. So I don't think that LG's playing catch up. They're right there on par, a part of the conversation with what's going on in the smartphone world right now. That's just what that's what these manufacturers do. It's what keeps us intrigued. It's what keeps us spending our money. So I can't understand why that's so difficult to understand. Now, I got this phone for $750 or $650. My apologies, $100 off, $650 for the G7 here. Excellent deal. Now this is the Verizon variant. They got some little promos and things that you can take advantage of that can lower the price from that $750 to stop the bleeding a little bit. If you feel like $750 is too much, for you. The phone is also being sold on lockdown at your local Best Buy or B&H Photo or Amazon.com. Last I seen, Best Buy had the unlocked version on sale for $5.99 and fully unlocked, GSM and CDMA unlocked for $5.99. $5.99. Think about that. Snapdragon 845 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard storage that can be expanded up to 2 terabytes. Quad HD panel when you can lower the resolution to 1080p or 720p, whatever you want. That brightness feature, this quad DAC, the DTS-X surround sound, the loudspeaker, the speaker box effect, the excellent dual camera system with the wide angle lens, IP68 rating, a wireless charge capable, got the notch, facial recognition, lightning fast fingerprint sensor, lightweight construction, featherweight, ergonomically sound in the hand for $5.99. Come on, man. That's a steal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean not to rant, but hey, man, I know you guys be tripping over the fact that I be long-winded. A lot of you guys be commenting, "Oh man, this video didn't need to be that long." Well, yes, it does, man, because I'm very detail-oriented. I like to give all the facts, as many as possible. This channel is specifically to help people make informed smartphone decisions. And so I can't say that I'm doing my job if I'm not putting out as much information as possible. Now, if you ain't got time for it, then hey, I understand. You can watch it in segments. I'm going to start timestamping my videos. And so if there's a particular section that you want to know about, then hey, you can just look at the timestamps and see, okay, at this mark, this is what he's talking about, and you can go to it. But until then, this is what it is. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like my pastor always says in the church service, y'all got time for this? You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got, man. That's my top 10 reasons why the LG G7 Thin Q is, to this day, and it's August 3rd, 2018, still to this day, the most complete, best flagship phone released. Now, I know some of you guys are going to come for my head on this one, and that's okay. This is my opinion, and I'm entitled to that. All right? That's all I got. So if you like this video, you already know, please hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of videos that I've done like this one, and definitely stay tuned because I've got so much more content to come. And please make sure you hit that notification bell so that every time Pristine Mobile Tech uploads something, you can be the first to view the content and voice your comments down in the comment section on what you thought, or if you got any questions or feedback for me, then that's where you leave all that stuff, and I'll be sure to read it and get back to you as soon as I possibly can. All right. Much love to all of my subscribers that have been rocking with me for a while. I see that my subscriber base is growing at a pretty rapid pace. So all the new subscribers that have joined, much love. I appreciate the subscription. Welcome to Pristine Mobile Tech. I'm going to continue to do my thing, get my hands on these latest devices, and provide as much information about them as possible to help you. Yes, you, all y'all, make an informed decision on a smartphone in which you may want to invest in. That's all I do this for. Alright, so in the meantime, you guys keep it safe, get spiritually fit, and definitely keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.